to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, residents of Milo made their voices heard about the rising taxes in their community. We'll have the details coming up.
Plus, the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office is joining an effort to break the cycle of incarceration. We'll have that story as well.
And more than $600,000 in grants will be supporting the state's forest economy and production. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us this morning. We'll have those stories and more coming up. We'll hear about a big collection of little tiny fire trucks donated to a local department.
So nice.
We have some folks joining us from Bangor Humane with our Pet of the Week. All kinds of neat things coming up. But first, to check that forecast, and it's looking like an unsettled day ahead today. Chance of some more thunderstorms in the area.
Well, that's not a shock. We'll turn things over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience the Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. We have a little bit of activity off towards the west, some showers, and even a few rumbles of thunder developing this morning. We'll be watching for showers and thunderstorms moving in our direction today, as we do have an area of low pressure that will be moving in our direction. As we do zoom things out, here's a little bit more of a bigger picture as we watch for activity moving in general to the south and east, but as low pressure moves in our direction, we'll have more development taking place. Here's a look at things right now. Again, we'll be watching for more activity developing, especially as we head towards the afternoon period. Things will start to back off later on tonight, and even by your Friday, looking pretty nice overall. The wind's not too bad today, a quick gust up to around 10 to 15 miles per hour. It's tomorrow where the winds will really get going up to around 20 to 25 miles per hour. Here's what we got coming up today. Showers and some thunderstorms on the way, where temperatures rise into the upper 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa.
Well, thank you very much, Devin. In Milo, property taxes are skyrocketing, leading some residents to wonder if they'll be able to stay in their homes. At a heating select board meeting last night, residents made their voices heard. As we reported on Monday, some residents are seeing their taxes double or even triple this year. Last night's meeting quickly became heated, with some directing strong language towards town officials. According to the town, a recent revaluation, along with a $47,000 county tax assessment increase, along with other factors, are all contributing to that tax hike. In the meeting, town officials also said they have filed a lawsuit against their former assessor and hope to regain funds to lower taxes that way. Residents are hoping for a solution.
This is a very, very impoverished demographic, without any insults to anyone. This is a struggling community, and you can see it when you drive around, see the conditions of houses, people just trying to keep them together.
Milo's next select board meeting is scheduled for September 9th.
Well, meanwhile, Maine State Police are investigating a suspicious package at the Maine Revenue Service building in Augusta. It happened Wednesday evening just before 5 p.m. Maine State Police say that a Capitol Police responded to the report of a suspicious package that had been opened inside Maine Revenue Services, which is located at 51 Commerce Drive in Augusta. The individual who handled the package moved it outside and contacted authorities. The Maine State Police bomb squad was called in to assist, and out of an abundance of caution, the building was evacuated while the package was being evaluated. Investigators determined through X-ray imaging and field testing that there were no explosive or biological hazards inside that package, and no injuries are reported.
A man from Knox County has received a lengthy prison sentence for sexually assaulting a child. 36-year-old Stephen Ames has been ordered to serve a 50-year sentence for assaulting the child numerous times over a period of 3 years. According to the Midcoast Villager, Ames molested the child in the Thomaston area from 2017 to 2019. The victim was under the age of 10 years old at the time. Ames' sentence of 50 years for gross sexual assault might be the longest sentence handed out for a non-murder case in Maine.
The district attorney for both Kennebec and Somerset counties announced the conviction of an Augusta man for years of domestic abuse, including an attempt to strangle the victim. District Attorney Megan Maloney said in a statement that 41-year-old Brandon Toby was sentenced to 20 years in prison with all but 9 years suspended, as well as 6 years of probation. The statement says that Toby and the victim were in a relationship for 3 years, first living together, then getting married and having a child. It says physical assaults began shortly after the couple moved in together. According to a statement, at one point, Toby tried to strangle his wife while she was holding their 2-month-old infant daughter, telling his wife he wanted her to die. Maloney said it was this incident that ultimately resulted in the 20-year sentence.
An effort to reduce relapse rates, the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office taking part in a nationally recognized initiative that aims to transform the lives of incarcerated individuals through education. Our Grace Blanchard has the details.
The Penobscot County Sheriff's Office is joining a nationwide effort to equip inmates with the skills and knowledge needed to break the cycle of incarceration.
We are going to protect the public from dangerous people. That's critical. But while people are incarcerated, we have a chance to offer them an opportunity to change their lives.
The Sheriff's Office is the first site in Maine to launch IGNITE, which stands for Inmate Growth Naturally and Intentionally Through Education. The initiative, formed by the National Sheriff's Association, is designed to reduce recidivism by offering structured access to education online.
This is a powerful tool for the individual themselves, the inmates, but what a powerful tool for our staff as well, to know that somebody's more focused on their education and self-help than they are of being disruptive or being caught up in their addiction.
The program has now reached 40 counties. It encourages participation by allowing inmates to earn privileges through consistent engagement.
What better way to do than to use education opportunity for them while they're there to help to reintegrate into society in a constructive manner.
Researchers from Harvard, Brown, and University of Michigan found that just 1 month of IGNITE reduces 3-month recidivism by 24%.
I hope that this is a standard for county jails someday. I hope that we don't remember a time when there wasn't IGNITE, where that's just, how a county jail does business.
Sheriff Morton said the initiative provides a creative approach to easing overcrowding and structural issues at the aging facility.
We know that we have a dilapidated building. Here's something that's really powerful happening inside there, and we hope that this bridge, this pathway to recovery, will start in the jail and continue on when they leave.
In Bangor, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, in other news, the Orono Town Council has approved additional funding for a new police station. They discussed several ways of paying the additional $1.25 million, including bonds and taking $1 million from the town's fund balance. The council adopted an updated fund balance policy that requires roughly 2 months of funds be kept in the account at all times, but they say the police station funding could immediately violate that policy.
I like the fund balance policy we're suggesting. I don't like the idea of passing what's a good policy and immediately saying, but we're immediately not going to follow it. It doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't feel prudent to me.
The town manager said using $1 million for the police station could leave them with a negative checking account balance for a short time in August of 2027. The additional $1.25 million for the police station puts Orono's total bonds for upcoming capital projects at more than $10 million.
Well, some property owners in Bangor are worried about squatters camping out on their land, saying it's unsafe and driving down the interest to visit or move to the area. Our Calvin White explains.
As Bangor faces a homelessness crisis, local business and property owners are concerned about squatters potentially affecting the city's economy and resident safety. The Bangor Police Department says it has received calls regarding squatting consistently throughout the past few years, but that they see an increase during summer and winter months.
It's something that's existed my entire career here. There are times when it exists more or is more prevalent of a problem. Certainly it depends on the time of season, whether it's warm out, cold out.
Recently, local real estate investor Philip Henry got a call from a fellow investor about strange activity on one of his properties.
Sure enough, there was two tents, that had 3 individuals in one tent, another individual in another tent. They had debris everywhere. There were dirty needles on the ground.
Henry has dealt with squatters on many of his properties, from commercial to apartment buildings. He says that affects people's perception of Bangor and can sway people away from moving in or even just visiting and trying out a new restaurant.
And so they come in and they're like, geez, is it safe here? What's going on here? Yeah, I think we changed our mind. We're gonna keep shopping.
Henry says he understands the difficult situation the homeless population is in, but hopes that something can be done to benefit both them and business owners.
If somebody is suffering from homelessness, we do have resources that we try to, make people aware of, so they're not out on the street.
Bangor police say they can recommend these programs, but are unable to relocate someone unless they have committed an arrestable offense. They do say anyone found to be trespassing can be told to leave, and then can be arrested for subsequent trespassing offenses. In Bangor, Calvin White, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, meanwhile, more than $600,000 is headed to Maine to support the state's forest economy. Senators Angus King and Susan Collins say the grants are going to 3 companies to support environmentally sustainable innovation and help expand markets for Maine's forest productions. ND Paper Incorporated will be getting $300,000 to upgrade wood processing equipment to enhance production by 15,000 tons annually. Robbins Lumber East Baldwin will get more than $235,000 to upgrade sawmill processing technologies that will improve operational efficiencies, and the Avedis Zildjian Company will get more than $87,000 to develop a wood energy system to increase low-value wood markets by 1,500 tons annually as well.
Some good news there.
Well, the time now is 8:12. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, the Lewiston Police Mobile Command Unit could now be used to help the city's uptick in violence. More on that ahead.
But first, another check of that forecast. A cloudy day ahead today with a chance of scattered thunderstorms. High temperatures around 77. More of the same unsettled weather tonight, then turning partly cloudy. Lows dropping down to the mid-50s. Partly cloudy tomorrow with a chance of passing storms. Highs once again around 77. We'll be right back.
Fires, floods, burst pipes. Disasters happen, but the mess they leave behind doesn't have to last. For 40 years, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration has been there to help Mainers get back to the closest to normal as they can. When your property is at its worst, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration is at their best, and they have been for 4 decades. Put your trust in the Bouchard team. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. You keep the memories, we'll handle the rest.
In the ICU, I've seen patients being bankrupted by the cost of care, and they're having to travel 3 and 4 hours to receive that care. This didn't just happen. Susan Collins voted to support Donald Trump on the largest Medicaid cut in history. Healthcare is getting even more expensive. People are losing coverage. Labor and delivery centers are closing. Hospitals are closing. We need to tell Susan Collins to stop siding with Donald Trump. We can't afford it.
Family owned and operating in the Bangor area for more than 10 years. Crosby's Welding is here to help you. We specialize in steel, stainless steel, and aluminum welding and fabrication. We serve many of the local industries from Maine lobstermen to the commercial trucking industry and everything in between. Fully mobile on-site construction services right down to custom signs and fire pits. Fast, friendly, reliable service. Give us a call today for a free estimate, 974-7815.
On the pavement, Sunday, October 4th at the Sea Dog on the Bangor waterfront. Register now at purpleirisfoundation.com or scan the QR code. Start a fundraiser, win prizes. Sign up by September 1st and get a free t-shirt. Goodie bags for the first 200 people to register. Cancer survivors sign up for free. Proceeds support those battling cancer in Maine. Pound the Pavement, sponsored by the Sea Dog, Summit America, Peter and Deb Brontes, Eventful Maine, ABC 7, and Fox 22.
A water main break in Ellsworth means a traffic detour will be in place for the foreseeable future. It happened in the Bridge Hill area. Public Works says on Tuesday, folks saw water coming up out of the pavement. Crews isolated the main break and dug into the pavement to start making the repair. They also had to reroute the water supply to keep flowing to downtown. In that process, a secondary water main break was triggered. The water main break has been repaired, but the DOT is still assessing damage to the roadway so that they can make repairs. And the section of the Bridge Hill from Court Street down the hill to where the Bucksport Road intersects with the Surrey Road is currently closed.
Because of the amount of gravel and stuff that got washed out from under the pavement, we just don't feel it's safe to have heavy traffic going over the road right now. So we would encourage people coming from Bucksport, it might be better for you to take the Christian Ridge Road and then maybe come down around Grand Street to get into town.
They are asking the public to be patient while damage is assessed and repairs are made. A boil water advisory is currently in effect, but is expected to lift at some point today.
Meanwhile, 7 school districts are now getting money to address and prevent student homelessness. The schools that will benefit include several in southern Maine. They're Portland, South Portland, Cape Elizabeth, and more, and also Ellsworth here in our area. They will split $2 million in grant funding from Maine Housing. The money will pay for housing specialists, providing housing stability services, and in some cases offering financial assistance. Biddeford school officials say cost of living is a visible problem there in York County.
Surprising too, the scope of or what a family who is experiencing housing insecurity now as opposed to maybe 10 years ago has very much changed. Again, you have 2 parents in the household, they're both working full-time jobs. They're not able to pay for rent. And so these families are doing everything that they can.
Maine Housing says it will work with districts like Biddeford to monitor how that money is spent and how many families are served, whether it's avoiding homelessness or moving them into permanent housing.
Lewiston leaders are officially taking action after a noticeable uptick in violence throughout the city. This is being done through a community engagement and accountability initiative to ramp up enforcement and increase police presence. Max Williams got a first look at the initiative against Lewiston violence that's taking shape.
What's great about it is it has internet connection.
Tonight we're getting an exclusive look inside the Lewiston Police Mobile Command Unit, typically used for major crime scenes, but now it can be a key asset to helping curb the city's uptick in violence.
What are you going to be doing throughout the night, throughout the day?
Yeah, so what's nice about this is obviously it's climate controlled. So if it's raining, if it's hot, if it's cold, we can bring people in here, sit them down, doing interviews. But if sometimes some community members want to talk to us and they don't want to be out in the open, they can come on in here and we can talk to them. And that's what this whole thing is getting to know our neighbors and trying to find out some information about the recent shootings and violence that we've been having in the city.
The truck will be stationed where police feel it's needed at least 2 times a week and will be staffed with 4 paid overtime officers for 8 hours per day. The pay coming from the police budget.
More to come. Bike patrols we anticipate in the coming weeks. We actually have some bikes at the shop right now.
In the days leading up to today's deployment of the command unit, a person was shot on Bradley Street on Monday and taken to the hospital. Police are still trying to find a suspect. The same day, a car with 5 people inside crashed into a police car after officers tried to stop them for driving erratically. All 5 ran off. Police were able to catch 2 who were juveniles. They also found this replica gun at the scene.
I walk around at night. I figure God's got my back.
We spoke with some people who say they already feel defeated.
I just watch my back because it's just too much of it.
Fears reaching an all-time high for this man. He didn't want to go on camera or tell us his name because he's worried he could be the next target.
The wife and I are trying to move out of the neighborhood.
And Lewiston police say they just got approved to actually have some officers take home police cars in hopes of reducing response times.
And that was Max Williams reporting. Well, the time now is 8:19. After the break, as the war with Iran continues, there's concern over service member mental health due to extended deployments.
We'll have more on that coming up. Plus, the Skowhegan Fire Department receives a heartfelt donation. We'll hear all about it straight ahead on Good Morning Maine.
Ready, set, summer with the Honda Summer Event from the most fuel-efficient full-line automaker in America. Visit your local Honda dealer today.
You don't get to buy the government that you want.
But let's look at what Troy Jackson did, because Troy Jackson likes to keep it in the family. When Jackson was state Senate president, his son was one of the highest paid lobbyists in town. Special interests paid his son, and Jackson changed his positions. Was it a coincidence? Or was something corrupt? Troy Jackson is just another dirty politician. SLF PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Chevy drivers across America will do a lot in the next 5 years. But one thing they won't do is pay interest on their new Chevy. Right now, get 0% financing for 5 years on all 2026 Silverado 1500 models. With no payments for 90 days. Because you've earned this summer. Now it's time to go get it.
Visit your Maine Chevy dealers.
Way up north in Maine, down a road less traveled, lies Golden Road Crossing. We have everything you need to gear up for epic hikes, days spent fishing, and nights under the star-filled skies. Join us at Golden Road Yacht Club for cold drinks and Maine-grown comfort food. Gather round to make new friends, share stories, and create memories to last a lifetime. Come visit us at Golden Road Crossing, your hub on Maine's legendary Golden Road.
Ready, set, summer with the Honda Summer Event from the 2026 Kelley Blue Book Best Value brand. Hurry into your local Honda dealer while the offers last.
A man from Skowhegan donated over 400 miniature fire trucks to the Skowhegan Fire Department in memory of his late father.
Our Sam Miller tells us the collection represents his father's passion for public service.
At 8 a.m. on Wednesday, the Skowhegan Fire Department dedicated a collection of 446 miniature fire trucks to the family of a fireman who spent his life answering the call of duty. The collection was donated by Daryl White of Skowhegan on behalf of his family in memory of his late father, John, who passed away on March 25, 2025. John was a volunteer firefighter in Connecticut since 1952, and his experiences instilled a fascination with fire trucks and all things firefighting related.
So to have that passion for the fire service that we all share, it's great.
That love of firefighting is what inspired his collection of mini fire trucks, which grew to nearly 600 trucks from across the world spanning over 20 years. Daryl says the goal of his father's collection was to have it serve as an educational tool for children.
I just think inspiring people to be aware of what's happening here, and then again, the youth. I just think it's great to have positive role models.
Daryl added that the display symbolizes his father's hard work, as well as the theme that he lived his life by.
Service over self was his theme, and that pertained to family, his time in the military, his role with his church, his community. He, even when he was like 90 years old and using a walker, he'd want to help me bring wood in from the wood pile. I mean, that's just the way he was.
Service over self. There's not a better choice of words to commemorate the life of John Whitney White, a dedicated firefighter, family man, and person of service. In Skowhegan, Sam Miller, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
What a nice thing to do.
Yeah, real nice collection there. Yeah. Well, now let's get a full look at our forecast with meteorologist Evan Biggs.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience the Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment. 922-2043. Wave heights are very calm out there this morning. Look at this. Only a foot according to the buoys and a lot of dark blue out there. 2 to 3 foot wave heights being noted farther out towards sea, so no advisories along the coast, and in fact inland very quiet out there as well. We do have showers and thunderstorms developing farther off towards the west this morning, and we are going to be watching for some of that for us as well. With an area of low pressure, here's the bigger picture that's developing for us as well. This will start to clear out later on tonight, with tomorrow a much nicer day. Here's what we got, a little bit of that developing throughout the morning period. It's this afternoon where we will be watching for more showers and thunderstorms moving in. Later on tonight, it backs off. Tomorrow, a very nice day expected with lots of sunshine. Clouds for the afternoon. By Friday night, looking very quiet. And even for your Saturday, another nice one on the way. Here's what we got for rainfall. Some areas seeing up to 1/4 of an inch before we're all finished up. It's rather scattered out. There were other areas, not a whole lot of rain on the way. It's in general, it's not exact, but it should give you a general idea. That's the idea here on what we're looking at before we're all finished up. Gusty winds will be a thing as well. Not so much today, a quick gust up to 10 to 15 miles per hour expected, but by tomorrow, 20 to 25 mile per hour gusts will be expected. So be ready for that as we do move forward. So for today, upper 70s, mostly cloudy, scattered thunderstorms, and that west wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Overnight, thunderstorms early, then partly cloudy with lows in the mid-50s, and that west wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and isolated storm not out of the question, with highs in the upper 70s and that northwest wind at about 25 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast for your Saturday, partly cloudy with highs in the lower 80s. And then for your Sunday, mostly cloudy with highs in the upper 70s, low 70s for your Monday with a chance for showers and thunderstorms.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
People ask me all the time, are those commercials really true? Does Lowry & Associates really get all of those clients, all of those big settlements? Yes, we do. We really have gotten millions of dollars for Mainers hurt by commercial vehicles. And the insurance companies know when you call the twos, we're going to fight for you. And you know what else is true? I really am standing on top of this big truck.
Hurt by a big truck? Call the twos. We win for you.
Disturbing news about threats of violence against women. Is it Graham Plattner again? No, it's Troy Jackson. When a female legislator disagreed with Jackson, he threw a water bottle at her in anger. The woman was deeply frightened. Jackson was known for bullying, and his screaming felt like intentional intimidation. His brash conduct with women raised alarm bells about his temperament. Troy Jackson, another phony we can't trust. Pine Tree Results PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Honey, where's the countertop?
I sent it out to the granite shop this morning to be replaced.
Wow.
The quickest turnaround in the business, the Granite Shop in Sedgwick.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
As the war with Iran lingers into its 6th month, there's growing concern about the mental health of service members who have been at sea for a record number of days. ABC's Karen Waz in Washington with the details.
This morning, a cry for help from the USS Abraham Lincoln. There are 5,000 service members on board the warship, which was supposed to come home in May. But now they're 9 months into a deployment supporting the war with Iran. They've spent a record 250 straight days at sea. Multiple sailors have tried to jump overboard, according to the Navy Times and Stars and Stripes. One wife says her husband reached a breaking point after his deployment kept getting extended. At town halls last week with Navy leaders, families described moldy showers, broken toilets, food shortages, and no soap or toothpaste. In response, the Navy told ABC News it has not identified an increase in reported suicidal ideation or suicide attempts, adding counselors and chaplains are on board. The Navy admits the war has disrupted supply lines, but says the ship now has clean water and healthy meals. Talking to reporters 2 days ago, President Trump commented on how much longer the war will wage on.
We totally control the Strait of Hormuz. We have control over it. Nobody else, only us. Our Navy is unbelievable, and things are going great for our country.
However, Iran contested Trump's claims, writing on social media, quote, "The Strait of Hormuz remains blocked and will not be reopened until Iran's conditions are accepted." So while the war continues, Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego demands the Navy allow a bipartisan congressional delegation to visit the USS Lincoln to conduct an oversight investigation into this horrible situation. Navy leaders have told families another carrier, the USS Theodore Roosevelt, could be sent to relieve the Lincoln, but it's unclear when that might be. Karen Hua, ABC News, Washington.
Well, now to the flood disaster in the Midwest. A state of emergency has been declared in Indiana, with evacuations ordered and neighborhoods underwater. ABC's Sophie Flay has the latest.
Catastrophic flooding swamping parts of Indiana. Nearly a foot of rain inundating neighborhoods. Many highways impassable. A giant sinkhole swallowing part of this road. Crews going door to door in Muncie, pulling people to safety. For many residents, they say the flooding happened with little warning.
My fiance called me and told me that I needed to start packing a bag and to get ready to get out of the house. And when I looked out of the window, I saw my fence floating past my window.
Officials calling the flooding a 1-in-1,000-year event.
I've been in the area for 60 years, and there's never been anything remotely compared to this. It's several feet higher than most people have ever seen it here before.
It comes after deadly storms pummeled the Midwest, leaving behind a trail of destruction. The Chicago area also hit hard after multiple tornadoes touched down, damaging homes and schools. Meanwhile, another weather event brewing, thousands of miles away. Hawaii is bracing for a tropical system expected to bring heavy rain and damaging winds this weekend.
Overnight, more than 270,000 customers were still without power in Indiana alone, and the state is expecting more rain today. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
As sizzling temperatures continue to sweep across the U.S. and Europe, the United Kingdom gears up for even more hot weather. The UK is once again bracing for more sweltering heat today, as forecasters are predicting temperatures as high as 100 degrees Fahrenheit in central and southeast England. That's pretty hot for there. The country's fifth heat wave of the summer comes while nearly 3/4 of England and all of Wales undergoes drought conditions, creating additional pressure on water resources for households, agriculture, and the environment. Local fire chiefs have also warned about an exceptionally high risk for wildfires. As temperatures continue to rise in the UK, the country's weather agency says it could be on track to record its hottest summer yet. A lot of that going on.
Yes. Well, coming up on the second half of the newscast, we'll hear from the Bangor Humane Society and meet our Pet of the Week.
We'll look forward to that coming up on Good Morning Maine.
These are the small space solutions America's waited 250 years for. Bob's Betty Bedroom. It packs a style punch in even the smallest of spaces. Betty Dining. Thousands of 5-star reviews. 4 fantastic colors. The Aspen Sofa. Bobopedic seats. Channeled upholstery. And the Phantom that one customer wrote they loved so much they decided to buy the love seat.
Because nothing's more American than doubling down.
Oh, my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
Mainers work hard. Our leaders should too. Like Senator Susan Collins, who just cast her 10,000th vote.
The first senator in U.S. history to reach that mark without ever missing a vote.
Collins worked with Democrats to keep the Gulf of Maine open for our fishermen, kept our shipbuilders on the job with new funding, and Collins expanded health care for rural Mainers. No drama, just hard work and results. Call. Ask Senator Collins to keep working hard for Mainers.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Thursday, August 13th, 2026, and this is also Left-Handers Day.
This holiday celebrates the distinctiveness of people who favor their left hands. There was a time when left-handed people were thought to be in cahoots with the devil. Only 10% of the world's population are left-handed, and men are slightly more likely to be left-handed than women. This holiday was created to raise awareness about the advantages and also disadvantages of being left-handed.
I'm not sure about the advantages. I know disadvantages. You know, everything's set up for a right-handed person. Everything from, you know, buttons on your sweater to scissors, or I could go on.
Yeah, well, I said in the last show, it's writing in a binder.
Right.
I feel like would be really hard, or a notebook as well. But yeah, we'll celebrate the left-handed people today.
This is your day. All right, time for some history. It was on this date back in 1889. William Gray of Hartford, Connecticut received a patent for the first coin-operated telephone. In 1941 on this date, Henry Ford showed off his so-called soybean car, whose plastic body was made from protein-rich soybeans. Ford said the world's first plastic panel car weighed half as much as a steel-bodied car and was also safer. However, the experimental vehicle never went into production because factories shifted to defense priorities during the outbreak of World War II. Pretty neat they did that early.
It is.
And in 1952 on this date, before Hound Dog would become Elvis Presley's longest-running #1 song, it was recorded by rhythm and blues artist Big Mama Thornton.
And in 1961, on what would become known as Barbed Wire Sunday, East Germany sealed its border between Berlin's eastern and western sectors. The city had been divided after World War II, with the Soviets controlling half of the city. Laying miles of barbed wire and bricks was the first step before building a wall that would divide the city for the next 28 years. In 1969, New York City held a huge ticker tape parade for the Apollo 11 astronauts. The crew, including astronauts Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins, had just returned after taking a walk on the moon. And lastly, in 1997, the Comedy Central hit show South Park released its first episode.
All right, for birthdays today, they include actor Sebastian Stan, the Winter Soldier from the Marvel movies. He is 44 today. Country singer Andy Griggs is 53, and NBA star DeMarcus Cousins is 36 today. Happy birthday to you also, if your birthday is today.
We'll turn things right back over to meteorologist Evan Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience the Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. We have a little bit of activity off towards the west, some showers, and even a few rumbles of thunder developing this morning. We'll be watching for showers and thunderstorms moving in our direction today, as we do have an area of low pressure that will be moving in our direction. As we do zoom things out, here's a little bit more of a bigger picture as we watch for activity moving in general to the south and east. But as low pressure moves in our direction, we'll have more development taking place. Here's a look at things right now. Again, we'll be watching for more activity developing, especially as we head towards the afternoon period. Things will start to back off later on tonight, and even by your Friday, looking pretty nice overall. The wind's not too bad today, a quick gust up to around 10 to 15 miles per hour. It's tomorrow where the winds will really get going up to around 20 to 25 miles per hour. Here's what we got coming up today. Showers and some thunderstorms on the way, where temperatures rise into the upper 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa?
All right, thank you, Devin. Well, during the last hour on Good Morning Maine, we had a special guest joining us to tell us about a unique event coming up tomorrow in Brewer. Have some graphics to go along with it. Our friends over there at Tiller and Wine are having an evening of wine, cheese, chocolate, and books.
It just sounds perfect.
What else could you want? The good thing about this is you'll get a chance to meet the authors of a new murder mystery, as you can see there, and also try some wonderful cheeses and wine and chocolate.
Well, Tiller and Rye, they always have different stuff in there. You never know what you're going to find, and you know their chocolate I feel like would be really good.
Well, a lot of it, all these products there are made in Maine too, so it makes them even more special. So
well, that's awesome.
That'll be going on tomorrow from 4:30 until 7 at Tiller and Rye and Brewer. Hopefully, a lot of people can drop by for that.
Absolutely. Well, still to come here this morning, Jack Webb with sports.
Got old metal and junk cars? Turn that clutter into cash at Daddy and Daughters. We make recycling easy, fast, and fair. From Skowhegan to Dover Foxcroft, from Troy to Lee, you can trust our certified scales and friendly service, offering top prices for junk vehicles in Maine. Whether you drop off or we pick up, Daddy and Daughters covers central and eastern Maine. Come see us at one of our 4 locations and watch your scrap pay off. Daddy and Daughters turn scrap into cash.
Chevy drivers across America will do a lot in the next 5 years. But one thing they won't do is pay interest on their new Chevy. Right now, get 0% financing for 5 years on all 2026 Silverado 1500 models. With no payments for 90 days. Because you've earned this summer. Now it's time to go get it.
Visit your Maine Chevy dealers.
Are you experiencing foot pain? Comfort Shoes and More has a team of experts trained in pet orthotics to help you find relief. They offer tailored fittings, shoe modifications, customized orthotics, and much more for the ordinary or for the hard-to-fit foot, with fashionable and functional footwear from today's top brands: Hoka, Brooks, Keen, Teva, Taos, Ufus, and Birkenstocks. From running to walking, casual or dress, they have it all. Take the drive to Newport for a sit and fit to find your perfect fit. You and your feet will be glad you did.
He put his life on the line for his country. Senator Susan Collins isn't forgetting him or any of our veterans. She's delivered millions in federal funding to improve housing for veterans across Maine and provide housing vouchers to make sure Maine veterans have a place to call home. She's also worked tirelessly to provide the quality mental health care our veterans deserve. Call and tell Senator Collins to keep fighting for our veterans.
The New England Patriots open their 2026 preseason hosting the Indianapolis Colts this Thursday at 7:30, and you can watch it on Fox 22.
Welcome back in, folks. Over the weekend, the Maine football team held inter-squad scrimmages, and lots of progress has been made since day one. Our Max Sturm has a story.
We're still a few weeks out from the official start of the 2026 Maine football season, but the Black Bears were able to see some real game action with 2 scrimmages over the weekend. Offensively, both the run and pass games looked great, but head coach Jordan Stevens says he was most impressed by the unit's ability to function efficiently.
Our ability to operate improved in between plays, getting calls, getting lined up, trade shift motions, playing within the play clock. I thought all those things really improved, and that's something that we want to be better at this year to start off the season.
Senior wide receiver Evan Wallace credits the play of the 3 quarterbacks and the offensive line to the success of the playmakers downfield.
We saw a lot of success from that. The QBs played great. Offensive line played unbelievable. Our protection was incredible. We had all kinds of time to make things happen down the field, and that's where it just paid off. Everything kind of comes together, and pass game is a reflection of a successful offense, O-line, QB.
Those quarterbacks have been a big talking point with the starting position up for grabs, and Stevens says that decision got a whole lot harder after watching them show out this weekend.
I think that's what's been probably a difficult part, which is great. I think we have a very talented quarterback room, but each of them bring something different. I think some have the ability to run, but they all have strong arms.
Let's not forget about that black hole defense, who also made their presence felt over the weekend.
I love how physical we played, how we all pursued to the ball. Like, nobody's above anything. Everybody's just using, one collective mind. We all play hard,
Our linebackers returned from last year. They may not have started last year, but they played in big roles. And just their vocal presence, didn't understand how big of an impact that could be, is to have guys out there that communicate at a high level, how much that can set everyone else at ease.
Week 1 is right around the corner, and safe to say, these guys are ready to go.
We're so ready. We're ready to rock.
You hear guys, they're loud, we're flying around. It's just, we cannot wait for week 1.
In Orono, Max Sturm, ABC 7 and Fox 22 Sports.
Well, the Red Sox aren't the only ones playing baseball right now. On Wednesday, the Maine Little League All-Star team moved one step closer to Williamsport for the Little League World Series. The Great New Gloucester Raymond Stars taking care of Vermont 10-0 on Wednesday. Bottom 2 bases loaded for Pierce McCarthy, who's going to belt a 2-run single to center, giving Maine an early lead in this one. We're going to go to the bottom 5 now after watching the finish of this play. Maine has the bases loaded for Drew Clark, who smokes a game-ending grand slam to dead center as Maine goes on to crush Vermont 10-0. So the boys from Gray, New Gloucester will now take on Massachusetts Thursday night, with the winner moving on to Williamsport and the Little League World Series. That will be on ESPN. There's a sport we don't get to talk a ton about. Mountain biking is coming to Camden when the Camden Snow Bowl hosts its very first ever Maine Gravity Series Enduro race later this month. The Maine Gravity Series is a 3-race series across the state that showcases the best downhill mountain bikers in the state and features riders from ages under 14 up to 50 plus. The middle race of the series will be held at Camden Snow Bowl on August 29th and 30th, and the other 2 will be held at Sugarloaf and Mount Abram. New England Patriots made headlines on Wednesday ahead of their first preseason game against the Colts on Thursday, but not for the on-the-field reasons. The Pats held a ribbon-cutting ceremony that officially opened the New Balance Performance Center. The state-of-the-art facility will be used by players, coaches, and other team personnel. It features a modern 92-stall locker room, brand new cafeteria that was tailored around players' needs and requests, as well as a new weight room, training room, hydrotherapy room, player lounge, team meeting room, and much more. They broke ground on the project 20 months ago, but team personnel has been using it since the draft. However, very exciting news as the Pats try to keep up with modern times. That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
If you believe in a campaign that's honest.
Honest. Troy Jackson was accused of mortgage fraud for falsifying documents to get a low-interest loan. Jackson billed taxpayers for massive travel expenses, even though his house was only a few miles from the state capitol. Who approved his taxpayer-funded expenses? He did. And Jackson was known for bullying women. Troy Jackson, falsifying documents, ripping off taxpayers, and a bully we can't trust. Pine Tree Results Pack is responsible for the content of this advertising.
At Danforth's Down Home Supermarket, fresh isn't just a promise, it's what we do every day. Family owned for 2 generations, Danforth's brings you the freshest produce, premium meat freshly cut and ground daily, and a bakery filled with warm breads, pastries, and sweet treats baked fresh every morning. With Maine lobster available year-round, a fully stocked deli, you'll find everything you need for the family table. Short on time? Shop online with Danforth's Dash. Visit Danforth's Down Home Supermarket in Herman and Pittsfield for quality, convenience, and hometown service come together.
Need a driveway paved or an entire road surfaced? Give Eaton Paving and Excavation a call. Eaton Paving offers a full line of excavation packages, from new home projects to new and replacement septics and driveways. We also install new shoreland and do shoreland repairs. Our operators have more than 75 years combined experience, and we have been delivering quality, professional service for nearly 3 decades. We strive to exceed your expectations. Give us a call today at 207-348-5630 or visit us at EatonPaving.com.
Think you're good at trivia? Arrange these holidays, these historic firsts, these animals. By the way,
I have no idea.
congratulations! You have built the perfect line! I'm Deborah Norville, and this is The Perfect Line.
Onion rings before, in between onion rings and pizza.
Definitely after. This is what happy looks like.
Weekdays at 10 on Fox 22.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we were joined once again by Gabby from the Bangor Humane Society, and we have the cutest little pit bull mix with us today. Can you tell us who this is?
Yes, this is Blueberry. She is 3 months old. She came to us as a stray, so we're not too sure about her history or her background, but she is just a baby, and she is so sweet.
I'm going to put her down so you can get a better idea of what she looks like.
She's pretty short and stocky. She's probably going to be a good 45, 50 pounds when she's fully grown. She is a wild child. I know right now she's being pretty good, but she is absolutely puppy all the way. She has all of those nibbling and biting tendencies right now, so this is the perfect age to train that out of them. Perfect age for socialization and getting them used to vet appointments and getting them used to kids and other animals. She does play with my dog, actually, and she does very well. She'd probably do really awesome with a cat as well, as long as the cat is good at correcting her, because I
Yeah.
could definitely see a little puppy like her chasing a cat. But she is the perfect age right now, and she's all by herself.
Yeah.
She's just a perfect little
Craig, I
girl.
think she really likes you. Every time you've
she's
picked her
very
up,
cute.
she's settled down, right down. So
She's very cute.
She's a great
very,
size.
very cute.
yeah, she is.
Great girl.
Oh,
Yeah.
so cute. How
There's-
old did you say she was again?
She's only 3 months old.
3 months.
Yep.
Yeah, great dogs too. They're great for kids and families, and kids can be a little rough with them.
Yeah, totally.
And, you know,
play.
they can grow up
Especially
with
at
them.
this age. It would
Yeah.
be great for her to grow up with a kid. She'd love
Yeah.
that.
Look at that face.
Oh, I know.
Somebody
He's so
come
sweet.
and adopt Blueberry. Yeah. You guys are just coming off the big golf tournament this
We
weekend
are.
too.
Yeah, it was sold out.
Yeah.
We made $26,000, and
That's
it was really,
fantastic.
really successful. Weather was great. It was a lot of fun. Everybody really enjoyed it, and can't wait to do it again next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're getting ready for Paws on Parade.
Paws on
When's
Parade.
that coming up?
That's on October 3rd this year.
That'll be here before you
it's
know
going to be
it.
at the Bangor waterfront again. We have
Yep.
lots of vendors, lots of dogs will be there, hopefully, as long as there's not another parvo outbreak.
yeah,
Because
that's
that's what
right.
happened last year.
I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah. So we're hoping for another healthy, happy year there.
Absolutely.
And all of that information is on our Facebook page and our website as well.
Boy, you are 100% puppy, aren't
Yeah.
you?
He sure is.
Just wants to eat my hands.
Yeah, she has the
Yeah.
little nibbly teeth.
Good
Oh,
doggy.
So
You're very
cutie,
good.
cutie.
I saw on your website you had several dogs there and other
Yep.
cats. So if this one doesn't appeal to you, stop by and
Yeah.
maybe check out one of the other ones.
Yeah.
We
You
have
just are
adults and
relentless.
puppies right now, and cats and kittens. So
Right.
we've got everything.
A lot of
every age.
options.
For sure, totally.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
always good to do
Blueberry.
go in and meet them too.
Hey, she's getting chompy.
She really
Well,
is.
Gabby, thanks for coming in.
Yes,
and
thank
it's
you.
nice to meet Blueberry. Hopefully Blueberry will get a new home real fast.
I hope so.
Yes.
All right. We're going to send things back over to Devin now for a final look at that forecast.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience the Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment. 922-2043. Wave heights are very calm out there this morning. Look at this. Only a foot according to the buoys, and a lot of dark blue out there. 2 to 3 foot wave heights being noted farther out towards sea, so no advisories along the coast, and in fact inland very quiet out there as well. We do have showers and thunderstorms developing farther off towards the west this morning, and we are going to be watching for some of that for us as well. With an area of low pressure, here's the bigger picture that's developing for us as well. This will start to clear out later on tonight, with tomorrow a much nicer day. Here's what we got, a little bit of that developing throughout the morning period. It's this afternoon where we will be watching for more showers and thunderstorms moving in. Later on tonight, it backs off. Tomorrow, a very nice day expected with lots of sunshine. Clouds for the afternoon. By Friday night, looking very quiet. And even for your Saturday, another nice one on the way. Here's what we got for rainfall. Some areas seeing up to 1/4 of an inch before we're all finished up. It's rather scattered out there, where other areas, not a whole lot of rain on the way. It's in general, it's not exact, but it should give you a general idea. That's the idea here on what we're looking at before we're all finished up. Gusty winds will be a thing as well. Not so much today, a quick gust up to 10 to 15 miles per hour expected, but by tomorrow, 20 to 25 mile per hour gusts will be expected. So be ready for that as we do move forward. So for today, upper 70s, mostly cloudy, scattered thunderstorms, and that west wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Overnight, thunderstorms early, then partly cloudy with lows in the mid-50s, and that west wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and isolated storm not out of the question, with highs in the upper 70s and that northwest wind at about 25 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast for your Saturday, partly cloudy with highs in the lower 80s. And then for your Sunday, mostly cloudy with highs in the upper 70s, low 70s for your Monday, with a chance for showers and thunderstorms.
No visit to Down East Maine is complete unless you have your picture taken with Wilbur the Lobster. Ruth and Wimpy's Restaurant in Hancock is always doing it upright for lunch and dinner with huge portions and wimpy prices. Ruth and Wimpy's Restaurant, 792 U.S. Highway 1.
You don't get to buy the government that you want.
But let's look at what Troy Jackson did. Because Troy Jackson likes to keep it in the family. When Jackson was state Senate president, his son was one of the highest paid lobbyists in town. Special interests paid his son, and Jackson changed his positions. Was it a coincidence, or was something corrupt? Troy Jackson is just another dirty politician. SLF PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Warning, entering Keepsakes may cause extreme creativity. From gorgeous fabrics and cozy yarn to gifts you didn't know you needed, we've got it all. Dive into quilting, grab a sewing machine, or join a class and unleash your inner artist. Stick around for our mystery quilt projects if you love a good surprise. And yes, we have a fudge counter, because crafting burns calories, right? Keepsakes, where your hobbies and your sweet tooth live happily ever after.
It's a mountain of fun. Plus, the Mallet Brothers at the county's Fall Festival to End Hunger, Saturday, October 3rd. This year's family fun, the scenic chairlift, an ATV ride-in, food trucks, beer garden, bonfire, golf scramble, and the Mallet Brothers. The county's Fall Festival to End Hunger, Big Rock, Mars Hill, Saturday, October 3rd. All for Maine's Ending Hunger campaign from the County Federal Credit Union. More at countyfallfestival.org.
No visit to Down East Maine is complete unless you have your picture taken with Wilbur the Lobster. Ruth and Wimpy's Restaurant in Hancock is always doing it upright for lunch and dinner with huge portions and wimpy prices. Ruth and Wimpy's Restaurant, 792 U.S. Highway 1.
Wave brings an influx of stingrays to multiple beaches across Southern California, and researchers say there may be more on the way. 2 state beaches in Southern California reported more than 3,100 stingray incidents so far this year, double the amount for all of 2025. The U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says that warmer water attracts the rays, adding the current marine heat wave is the 3rd recorded time that coastal waters stayed this warm for this long. This comes as officials confirmed the formation of an El Nino back in June, which is when water in the central and eastern Pacific Oceans become warmer than usual. Professor Chris Lowe, who is also a researcher at Long Beach University, explains the impacts of an El Nino on stingrays.
So the El Nino warms up the water. Right now the water's beautiful. It's in the high 70s. We might even hit 80 this summer. And those stingrays are subtropical. They range all the way to Baja. So this is actually lovely stingray conditions. So we expect more to be coming up from the south, which means they're going to be more off our beaches.
According to a number of meteorologists, the general warming of the ocean is due to human-caused climate change.
Well, people turned out for the yak races in Russia's Far East Tuva Republic, and who wouldn't turn out for that?
I don't know.
The 5-kilometer race happened on Tuesday. Riders saying it was no easy task to navigate, as a yak can, on average, weigh about a ton and reach speeds of more than 12 miles per hour. The Tuvan yak is a locally adapted breed of domestic yak used by locals to transport goods on mountain roads. After the race, the district's best yaks paraded in front of spectators.
Oh my goodness.
So they're incredible.
They are.
Yeah.
Real big. Well, shark sightings have been at the top of mind and top of many newscasts recently. And earlier this week, we heard a story about a lifeguard in southern Maine having a close encounter. And those seem to keep coming. Alex Finlay posted this video from Gray Beach in Machiasport. He tells us that this video was captured at around 10 a.m. yesterday morning. A friend of his was out clamming along the beach when he saw the shark and got his phone out and started to record. Thanks to Alex for sharing this video with us.
Too many shark sightings, if you ask me.
Yeah, one too many.
A little scary. And one of Maine's oldest and most exciting events kicks off today. It is time for the annual Skowhegan State Fair. The festivities start with Dollar Day, meaning admission is only $1. There will be rides from Smokey's Greater Shows every day, live music alongside many delicious food options. And on select days, there will be demolition derbies, truck pulls, harness racing, and other fun activities.
Oh, we've got horse shows, we've got sheep shows, contests, blue ribbons, the agricultural aspect as well. We have people who bring their, the foods in for blue ribbon for judging contests. We give away cash prizes. Phenomenal exhibits. Make sure you come see them.
And if you are 62 or older or a veteran, they'll also be offering half-price gate admission on select days. For more information about tickets and other things, you can visit their website at skowheganstatefair.com.
Looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time that we have left for this morning. But as always, we thank you for joining us.
Have a great day, everyone.
Today on 25 Words or Less, she's a well-respected journalist. Well, now that she's doing this sort of nonsense, I think we can all agree those days are behind her. It's SE Cup. And joining SE, her daughter and mother, Tara and Carol. He guest starred on Friends, where he originated the role of guy with less range than the monkey. It's Dan Bukatinsky. And joining him are our returning champions, college friends, Whitney and Katie. And now here's your